Hello! In the previous video I showed how to clone the source code of BlackSheep project and how to prepare a virtual environment and to compile extensions. In this video I would like to share how I'm using Visual Studio Code to work on this framework. Of course, contributors can use any kind of text editor, but I just want to share how I'm using Visual Studio Code for it. So I'm starting from a folder I prepared previously, so I already have the development environment, and I will open an instance of Visual Studio Code here. Now, to work with Python, I'm using the Python extension from Microsoft. So I recommend to use it. Later I will share something about how I have it configured, but for now let's just start setting up the project here. So the first thing I would like to do is to do Ctrl+Shift+P and select a Python interpreter. You see at the bottom of the list I already have the virtual environment of the folder. So it's a .venv in Python. So I select this one. It is the virtual environment for the project. Then I do again Ctrl+Shift+P and I want to configure the test. And I'm going to select PyTest because I'm using this test framework. Then when prompted for the directory containing the test, I will select the root folder. Now I can discover the test. Ctrl+Shift+P again and do Python discover test. Once test discovery completes, I should see the list of tests here. Now I am organizing tests in two folders. One is iTest. It contains integration tests that require a server running in memory, which can be, for example, a Flask server to test the client, or BlackSheep servers to test the, actually Uvicorn, for example, test server to test the server part. And the test folder contains unit tests, which are meant to complete fast. And I can, for example, run this test. I usually use the command line to run the test, but occasionally I find it useful to run them from the interface provided by Visual Studio Code, especially when I want to see here a summary of which are green and which are red. And I can debug the test. So now I'm going to show how tests can be debugged. I'm going to increase my screen size a bit. And here you see Visual Studio Code is conveniently displaying run test and debug test buttons on top of every test method. I can configure a breakpoint here. Actually, it was already configured because previously I set it there. But you can see if I click on this column, I can add a breakpoint. And I can click to debug this specific test. And I'm already here. I can inspect the variables. You can also use the debug console to see values here. Now, what I'm also doing, I configured Visual Studio Code so to apply formatting upon save. This is convenient. For example, I don't want to have white spaces, trailing white spaces on the end of lines. So I configure Visual Studio to remove them automatically when I click Save. And I have BlackSheep configured on the virtual environment, so it must be installed, so that when I do something, modify my code and save the file, it will apply automatically the formatting from Black. So these things are configured under Settings. They can be configured under User or Workspace. In this case, for example, I can show you trailing spaces are removed. Yes, you see here, when enabled, will trim trailing white space when saving a file. So this is a setting in Visual Studio, Visual Studio Code. But speaking about the black formatter, it will be under the Python Python setting. Here you see Python formatting black path. I select black, and here black Python formatting provider black. You can select one of these, but for BlackSheep, please use black because this is what I'm using. Of course, there can be differences among formatters, so the code should be consistent. And that's it. When you also something convenient about Visual Studio Code is that when you change settings, you can easily see them in JSON format. And here are all my settings. I also have tab size configured for Python here and rulers to see. 88 is the maximum for black default configuration, so it's canonical 79 characters plus 10%. There is a nice explanation on black repository why this size was chosen. And that's it. So this is everything I am doing for Visual Studio Code, almost everything I'm doing with Visual Studio Code for my Python projects. So thank you for listening, and have a nice day.